Hello, hello. Good evening. Hello, Tony. How are you? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the stream. We are back for some plane shift development, which is always nice to see the game grow, to see new functionality, to see that we are actually progressing in our journey to make an MMO in our spare time. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Okay, so the theme of today is more skins, more icons, more items. And why? Because, hello Tua. Because Tua did a very good job in importing a lot of items, which I don't know yet if they are all the possible ones or not, but I think there is the majority of the items that we have in the game, if not all. And now what we want to do, we want to see if we can actually put them in practice, so we can actually use them, right? And this is what I would like to try and to test. So I have the editor open already. I think I already updated my Unreal to the latest, unless there was something in the last hours. 9 of April. Yes, this one I need to get. I think this one I need to get. Didn't get it yet, so let me close the editor. We will also have to do one pass at kind of polishing / improving things. We have a lot of areas of the game at the moment which are pretty rough. Like they've been put together pretty quick just for have them work properly, but we never polish them to be good enough for testing. And obviously I'm not speaking about final release, I'm speaking just polished to be kind of usable, in a reasonable way. So I was just looking at some parts right now, which are, for example, the options menu, which I think is also something that we can clean up later on, but not today. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll come to that as well. But the idea of today is doing something else. But the option panel, which is actually built in a pretty weird way, we should fix it, improve it, and some of the control, like the audio, is not properly working and things like that. So okay, let me launch the editor first, because I want to make the point of where we are with the different items, and then I will check with the database. Now the only question I have is if I need to update the database, because now we are reaching the point, where the database starts to be very relevant. So if we are using the production database or if we are using the dummy database, because the dummy database, for example, doesn't have all the items. It does not. And so if I want to test, maybe I can put a subset. I can have a subset of the items in, because if I open item stats, I think I can close. Let me close all these windows because they were dedicated to debugging NPC moving, but I think that now we did it. So if I open item stats, for example, this is the dummy database, the test database. Yeah, I have some items, but it's a very, very, very limited, set of items. So I think if we need to test it, we have to test it with a real database, yes. And I don't think I want to extend this dummy database too much to contain all the items. Otherwise, it will start to be pretty heavy. Okay, so I think what we can do, we need to go for the real database, which is this one, plain shift production. Right? We need to go on this one, and we need to check. So here we have all the possible items, which are several pages. So there are thousands, I guess, or at least hundreds. And at the moment, these three columns, which are the mesh, the icon, and the texture, are not correct. Are not correct because they are coming from the previous game, right? And so one thing that we did, one thing that Tua did, not really me, but is to go into this Excel file, right? And in this Excel file, we have all the raw data coming from the item, from the database, from the production database, and then we have a tab for meshes, a tab for textures, and a tab for icons. I remember two. Now the third one, texture and meshes. I remember these two. Yeah, so here is the SQL that we need to run, to ensure that whenever there is a certain, did I do it by ID or I did it by, by name. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. We'll take a bit more because it's done by name, but I think by name is better because there may be multiple items using the same texture. So the idea would be to run this query. I mean, this big set of query. There are hundreds, I guess. What is this ABCD? I'll check. These are probably the ones that have the helm in the yes. So of this one, we should just use the A actually. One version. We should just use the version number. And so I think we can probably just change this to be helm 01A and it will work. But this is the lay. So we will have to run this query to allow all the items to be updated. And then we will need to run, that is for the meshes. Then textures, what is this one? DT texture material, yeah. DT texture material, DT texture ID. I don't remember exactly why we split this into two sheets. I don't remember that, because we have, here is the material, like for example book black. Okay, material, it's imported book. The texture ID is 178 and the material is this one. Okay, so so as an example, let's take only this one. Okay, let's take this one for a second. Now let's go. First, I want to see the new DT texture and see how it looks. So we DT texture. So for example, can I search in this table? If I do browse, no. Yes, can I search here? So if I do, for example, book black, okay. So book black is coming out as 178 material instance constant game thanks book. So which I hope that is exactly the reference, right? Material instance constant game thanks book. I'm not sure about this game thing, but probably yes. Thanks book. So let me check just that the reference is correct. So thanks books. So the reference should be book black material, right? This one. So if I do copy reference, I see the resulting reference. And where is it? We close a bit of stuff that is not related to us. So this one is the reference, right? That I have. So yes, it's game thanks book. No, it's correct. So it's exactly the same. Let me just double check that it's exactly the same with DT textures. But I think so. So if I copy this one, seems to miss a character for some reason. Books compared to book. Why that? Because I think this folder is not correct. Thanks books. Yeah, so this one should be updated to books. I copy paste it on top. I don't know if there are other books. Probably not. Can put a filter maybe. Can I put a filter on top of this? I think I can, right? If I do filter. Filters are already here. Where? I don't see it. Where is the filter? Okay, now we have a filter. So we want to check if there are books. Okay, books are there. I also see there is thing instead of things. So this could be another mistake. Huh? Thing lights, thing tools. Thing light, thing tools. Thing light. I don't think in game we have a thing. No, should be. Yeah, so all these ones. These ones and these ones. Let me do one by one. So they should be things and things. So otherwise it will not match with the item in game. thing slides. And the other one was thing tools. Okay, so all those ones must be here. Okay. Yeah, there may be some small mistakes like this, but oops. But yeah, I'm filtering it too. No problem, no problem. There's some manual mistakes is normal that they happen. So bags, bottle vases, building floating containers. I don't know if the uppercase or lowercase makes a difference. That I really don't know. I think not. I think they're smart enough to avoid, any uppercase, lowercase. So in theory, should not. There is one that is weapon stuff ones. Stuff 01. Do we have any weapons? Weapon stuff ones. Yeah, there are some which are here in the main folder, so I think it's okay. Because there are a number, stuff 01, stuff 03. Okay, we assume that they are okay. Then if they are really okay, I cannot check them one by one. I'm just doing some, overall check, high level. Just some quick check. Furniture, glyphs, and jewelry. Jewelry. Let me see how jewelry is written. Because jewelry is one of the ones that you always type wrong for whatever reason. It happened to me so many times. Jewelry. No, this time is correct. Incredible enough. Because usually I mistype it all the time. Bottle vases. Bottle vases exist. Yes. Books. Okay, so they seems to be all okay now. So these one are okay. So I want, let's say, to have this in my did you upload it to from a CSV file, or how did you upload this? I guess you imported it from a CSV, right? I think they should also be here. If I go under data, there should be probably the reference to it. Source file, it is dt underscore texture.csv, right? So that is the CSV file. Did you also post the CSV file in here or not? Probably not, but I don't think it's needed. I can recreate it. Oh no, you also posted the CSV. Okay, it's good. It's good. So we can repopulate this and then re-import. Okay. I'm using OpenOffice. I think it should not be a problem. Assuming it opens up. Okay. Yes, I don't know if there is any setting, comma separated. I think it should be fine. So in the CSV we have what? We have a number and the texture. And so basically you copy pasted starting from what? Let me remove the filter. So if I go at the first line, so your first line should be dt texture 178. When you created this file you created this to copy paste. I don't understand too much. What is this texture thing? Because this texture thing is seems to be a bit of a duplication of this one, right? So we could have it just on this column, and so we keep it on one tab only. UE material. UE material. Or you do a lookup table, or it's a bit of a pity because now I have to change it, here as well, and I don't know why. Textures. Probably you did it because it was just one file to export to CSV, and so you just exported this tab to CSV. Could be, but I don't think I like it. I think I prefer to have it DT texture, DT texture, DT texture, DT texture. So here we need to have a number and a name. That's nothing else. Okay, a number and a name. But you know what? I really don't like to have a separate tab. Can I delete it? Because some texture on multi-meshes. Yeah, but the problem is that now we have to realign, the fixes that I did on the folder again. While if we had it in the previous sheet, it could have been automatic. So you manipulated some of this manually, this is what you're saying? Like the Ojaveda thingies, let me say. Like the Ojaveda, like the elms. Like the elms do not have probably the same formula, right? Because they don't have the same elm 01 material. Or I don't know, I can do the same fixes on this column, it's not too much of a problem, but it's just because this way we have to duplicate fixes all the time. If we want to fix something, we have to go back and forth between two sheets, and it seems pretty inefficient. Where are the Oja thingy? Rolling pin. No, was the one that were atlases, right? No, I think the one that were atlases were for the icons, or also for the texture, right? Also for the texture. They were I don't know. For now, I can do the fix here as well. I can do the fix on this column. I just don't remember which one I fixed, but skin 01 for all Oja pillow. Oja pillow. Oja pillow. I don't see it here. Pillow. Is this thing searching something? Yes, it is. Pillow are not here. It looks like they are not here. Maybe they are not called Oja pillow. Oja something? No. I don't know. Maybe in this one. Ah yes, Oja carpet. Here it is. Oja carpet. Why they are not on the other sheet? Oja carpet. Mesra foundation. Oja carpet 01A. Because in the database we have Oja carpet 01A or not? No idea. Let me order it by string mesh. So if I order this one, and I go, no, it's too many. By the way, I ordered the icon and not the mesh. It should be furniture. Let me do something simple. String gfx mesh like percent furniture dash or just something. Okay, here they are. So all the OJA thingy have this mesh, right? As this mesh, we should go okay. The mesh reference is correct, I guess. The mesh reference will be OJA carpet 01, but then the material umat skins 01 material. Skins 01 material. Let me say this 1 second. Skins. I don't understand this too much. Skins 01 material is under things furniture, right? So there should be a skins 01 material, right? Skins 01 material, but it's not here for some reason. It's under things, not under material. It's under things, things furniture. Okay, I get it. Okay, so skin 01 is this one. So he actually has an atlas of different. Okay, an atlas of different skins. Makes sense. So for this one, what did we do? We had to create. So for this one, we said that we need to create different objects, right? We need to create different objects. So yes, so in this view, you have skin 01 mat for all of them. Yes, perfect. So it is correct. It is correct, which corresponds to different meshes, right? So carpet 01. So for example, carpet 01. Let me turn off my mobile. Carpet 01. Which is this one, yes, which is referencing a specific texture in the atlas. Okay, perfect. Okay, good. So this one we have it correct already, right? So this one is correct already. My only question is why we cannot have, like it was at the beginning, by the way, why we cannot have here just the column with the material. This one. Why I cannot have this one on this side? DT texture. Why I cannot have this one on the other sheet? Because this is exactly what I want to have, you know. I want to have, because this one is taking, let me see what it's taking. It's taking the material, which we have on the other side, and the directory, and it's concatenating game, directory, and material, and then it gets the ID, which I guess is the same ID. So if I go and get, for example, 260, let me see, which is the one that probably is broken, right? 260, we have one line only. I think I understand why you did it, because there is one line only, right? If I put it on the other tab, I will have multiple lines. I will have multiple lines, and in reality I need only one because it's one ID. Yeah, I understand that. The problem is that if something happens this side, we need to do it also on the other side. But okay, yeah, I'm just trying to understand what is the less painful, you know. Because also this one is not a lookup, so if something changes here, we will never catch it. But we have to align it manually, but which I don't like too much. But I don't know if it's simpler, to keep it in the same table, and then when we have it in CSV, we just remove the duplicates. I think there is. I think there was a function to delete duplicates. Don't remember where it was, but I think there was. No, don't remember if there was a delete duplicate here. Yeah, we put a lookup. Yeah. Yeah, maybe if we put a lookup, yeah, this could also be an idea. We put a lookup on the folder. I mean, in theory, it should never change. Okay, so when we fix it once, but for example, now I already forgot what I fixed. So, I mean, I can try to fix it again. So there were two things. One was this, right? Things lights, which should be things. Another one was things tools, right? Which this one should have an S. And then there was, I think, books instead of book, right? That this one should be books. I think that these were the only fixes that I did, right? If I remember right, these were the only three fixes that I did. But anyway, we'll see it pretty quick in game, because when we load them in game, we will see easily if something is missing a texture. So okay, let's try like this. It's fine. Then what you do, you basically export these two columns, right? You export to CSV. Well, actually, you can export to CSV the whole thing and then just delete the first two columns, right? So I think this is what you do. So you do export or download CSV current sheet. Is what you do, and then you go in PSR real content. I'm doing it for the first time, so that's why I'm asking you. But yeah, try to follow me and tell me if I'm doing something stupid. So I'm going in content data, and then I copy on DX textures, right? Need to save. I overwrite. Then I go in DX textures. I open it again. Why is not changed? It should be changed. No? Why it didn't change? Why doesn't see it as changed? Probably because it's open and it didn't save it. I'm surprised. Books. I overwrote. I don't know. Did I do it in the right directory or I did it in a kind of a random directory? CPS and real content data. CPS and real content data. So if I override, say we want to replace it, yes. Right? If I say yes, Okay, now it changed. Probably because OpenOffice was open, and so it couldn't override the file. Okay, so now is good. Now we did it. Okay. So now we have this. You didn't delete what was already there. Okay, so there was already some stuff. Okay, that is easy to find out because I can tortoise svn diff and say, yeah, you see it says very different actually. Well, I see that very different because now there are multiple columns. So let me remove the first two columns and then maybe we'll see. And we can reincorporate the first two. So let me delete that. So the first two in theory should not be needed. So if I save it, let me see if I save it and I compare it now. I'm still saying it is completely different, but I think the reason is that our book black actually starts from somewhere down here. Oh, I deleted the number. No, I didn't. What? Why the export is different from what I exported? What the hell is going on here? So there is the file, right? I saved it, okay? I saved it. And I saved it on top of this file. Now, if I open this file, I still see the two old columns, okay? Why? I still see the two old columns. Interesting. And this thing seems to be frozen. What the hell is going on? File. Should I do probably I should do an export to CSV or no? Because if I try to save, it's actually trying to save as ODS. I don't understand what is going on when I click on save. It's coming on this side. It was on the other screen. I couldn't see it. This document may contain formatting or content that cannot be saved in a text CSV format. Do you want to save the document using this format? But anyway, yes. Okay, so it was on the other screen and I couldn't see it. That's why. Okay, so now if I diff, okay, much better. So now we see that there is a content which is the same and some content which is very different and some content that is added on top. Why we have the 50? I don't know. The numbering is a bit weird, but the numbering is a bit weird. But basically, all the stuff that was already there, you didn't move. Okay, but the Falcon, I think we already have down below, right? Because the Falcon we have here, so I don't think he's under weapon somewhere, right? So I don't think we need the Falcon again. Exactly is here. So the Falcon is here. So the Falcon should not be kept. So these lines should not be kept, but all the others, which are in particular this, which are the pointer to the chainmail, Do you have in your file the pointer to the chainmail in any way? No. Which is interesting though. Why not? Why not? Because in theory, 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6. We need to resolve these initial ones, otherwise we will never get it right. We will never get it right. So let me see in my sample database. Okay, if I take item stats here, because I don't remember exactly how I did it, so I have to go back and check it again. But I put inside texture. Here it is. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. 1, 2, and no, this is the falcon thingy. No, this is the falcon thingy. 4. There it is. There is a 4, which is a torso, I guess. 4 is a torso. So this one actually is a chainmail torso, right? Chainmail torso is number 4. So chainmail torso. Now in the new database, if I do name like chainmail, if I do name like chainmail, it does not find it. Very strange. Why? Maybe it's chain space mail. Chain mail. Yes, exactly. So chainmail torso, chainmail torso armor, right? Chainmail torso armor. Chainmail torso armor, which is this one, is 417. It is a completely different number, but it is not a problem. So chainmail torso armor. Chainmail torso armor was originally was F torso chainmail. Okay. F torso chainmail. So F torso chainmail. So whenever we have, this is a bit of a mess, but when we fix it, then it's fixed forever, which is the good thing. Okay. So it's a bit of a pain now, but so if I search F torso chainmail, hello Dino, welcome. F torso chainmail is not here. Why is not here? Strange though that it's not here. It's here. So it's here in the raw data, but it's not in the meshes. Probably because you did not extract these ones to the meshes. Okay, which can be fine. Even if I would like to have them in the list, because I think there should be. We need one list. Okay, I don't want to have a lot of manual copy paste, or I don't want to have a million manual thingies. I want just to have it done once and fixed forever. So so these ones probably you did not copy to or like you took probably only the items and not the armor. But the problem is that I don't want to leave anything. I don't want to leave anything open. You added original CSV stuff to the sheet now. Okay. Where? You did it under. You did it here at the bottom. Can you come audio? I mean, can you speak on Discord? Maybe it's easier. Otherwise, it takes too much between the 20-second delay and. Where did you add this thing? Ah, here. Okay. You added it here. Okay. So these ones are all the original ones. Uh, 4. So from 4 to excluding the Falcon, because the Falcon we don't need. Yes, exactly. So these ones, these ones, these ones, these ones, these ones. Skeletal mesh. I think these one are the plate mail. Is the plate for the different races. Okay, 109. So 109. What is the first number we have here? All these are in overlap. All these are in overlap, and so it's not a good idea. So we need to change, or they are not in overlap. I don't know. Up to 55. Here we go from 10, no, from 4 to 55. Ah, no, okay, they are not in overlap. Okay, good. They are not in overlap. Okay, perfect. 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 Okay, good. There is no overlap. Okay, so that's nice. Now, the only thing that I need to update, also the mesh, right? So I need to have it also on meshes because I need to do the same thing. Or not. Good question. Do I need to update also the mesh? So let's take, for example, name. No. Do I need to update also the mesh? Skeletal mesh 100. Pretty confused now, but I think I will resolve it. So the mesh, well, for sure has to be updated for all of this. Okay, what I need to know if it needs to be updated also for this one. No, so for the ones that we are only changing the texture, like the chainmail or the leather, we don't need. Okay, we don't need. So the mesh can stay as we want. I mean, can stay as it was. Can stay as it was. And maybe we can update it later on, because I think that now we have meshes for armor, but for example here you see is not assigned. So when you drop a chainmail torso armor, it shows up as a sack, as a default mesh, which is not great, but anyways how it is today in the production database. So I would say for now we will leave it like that. So this one we don't need to change the mesh, but for the plate, I think if we go for the plate, plate mail torso. If we go for the plate, which is actually changing the mesh, we have CS part mesh here. Okay, so we have it in the part mesh. I don't remember how I do it. Maybe we just read this one. Okay, let's assume that for now we don't have to change the mesh. for the lines that we added, so we don't need to add them here in the mesh tab for now. I'm not 100% sure, but let's say that for now it's like this. So with the texture we added this. Okay, so I need to do, so the update, so here I'm updating, but here I'm updating mesh, texture, and sorry, where I'm updating mesh, texture, where we have, so here we are updating both, mesh and texture. Here is only the table for the extraction. Yes, the problem is that I need to update the database as well. So this list, so I need this list, also on the other side, otherwise I will not be able to update the database, right? I need this list here as well, because it's not. So if I search this one will never be here though. This one, 4, 5, 6, 7, these ones I need to update the database as well. And this means that I need also in this sheet this, at least I need these values, but also the head, no, but also this, no, everything where I have a number now, it should be changed, right? So I think I need all of this as well. Yeah, I need all of this. So you're saying that these are in addition, huh? So, okay, if they are in addition, I think I need to put it here as well. But how can this one update the database if it doesn't have the? Ah, no, it's correct. Okay, good. Yeah, sorry, I'm confusing myself. Okay, so all this list, I need it here, but the problem is that I need it with the original name. You know, I need it with the original name because it is checking for the original material, which is associated to a mesh or not. I don't know. So, for example, number 4. Let's go one by one, otherwise it's too hard. So, number 4 is the chainmail, right? The chainmail torso armor. So, number 4, the chainmail torso armor. Chainmail torso armor. Doesn't like it. I don't know why I don't like it. Chainmail torso. No. Torso. Okay. It's written different. Is chainmail torso armor and is okay. Anyway, we don't care about the dummy database. The one that counts is this one. Huh? So chainmail torso armor is this one. Is line 439. But we could also go by ID on these ones, by the way. But Do we have the ID? No, we don't have the ID. We only have the mesh. The problem is, the big problem is that the mesh here is not correct. You know, I think there is a flaw in our logic. Unfortunately, I think there is a flaw in our logic. Fuck, because we go by mesh, right? We don't go by ID. So we say whenever there is this mesh, we update with a static mesh, and that's perfect. But we also say, unfortunately, we also say that when there is this mesh, right, we update the texture to correspond to that mesh. But it's not always the case. Also, there are items which have the default mesh, but a different texture. Or no. If they default mesh, they don't have a different texture. I mean, like they have different sack texture. No. Okay, that case is not possible. That case is not possible. I mean, yes, there is a flaw in the logic, but that case is not actually happening. So it's not moving us. The only place where it happens is for these special parts, like the chainmail torso, the plate, all that stuff. So it's only happening for these guys here at the bottom, which are very special cases. And for these ones, which by the way are one line for all the armor of all the races, so it's only this set really. This covers everything, right? For this one, I think we can have a different update, and it will be by name or by number. I think we can go by number. What do you think? I think we can go by number or by name. Are there two names with this? No, name and number are unique in this case, right? Are completely unique. So, chainmail torso armor will always be 439 in our production database, right? It will never change. So 413. So we can probably go just by number. It's only this list, it's not a millions. It's only this list. And so here our update will be a bit different. Instead of being like this one, will be slightly different. Will be updated as stat set mesh equal to blah blah blah. Texture, I don't know, I have to think about it, but where let's just say where ID is equal to that thing. Wait. Mesh is this, huh? No, here is the material. It is the material, because the mesh, the material, we take it from where? E480. The mesh, we take it from here. So let me do something which is a bit brutal, but I think it's okay. So all of that all of this actually we don't need here because we have it on the other side. But what we need here, we need where ID equal to this line, right? So here for this section, which is a different section, maybe we can split it by a border or something. This will be a different section, which would be specific to this set. So Now, do we need to set the mesh now is correct? Do we need to set the texture? Set mesh. Wait a second. Wait a second. Mesh. Why I want to change the mesh? The mesh is the sack. Why I want to change the mesh? Why I want to change the mesh? I don't want to change the mesh. The mesh stays as it is. For these items, the mesh stays as it is. Well, stays as it is, but with the change of Unreal. Yeah, we still need to change it to Unreal folder. So this one should go to, yeah. So like 439, right? I think should default to sack. Can we use another column, because otherwise I think I'm doing a mess here. The column B is not used by anything, right? Column B is not used by anything. So I think if I move this here, and I think if I place exactly what we have in the database now, so sac01, so for example the chainmail, I should do an extraction from for all of those. How do I do an extraction from all of those? How do I do an extraction? Because there are actually a significant number of this one. Well, there are the kits. I don't know how we treat, for example, brigantine torso armor, right? So if someone is equipping this armor, what happens? What happens in game today? It just default to chainmail. It just default to chainmail. Can you tell me one thing? Did you exclude some item from the extraction? Because I think that is the fear I have now. You know, the fear I have now is that the list of items we have here is not the full list of items in the raw data. Is not the full list of items. Well, actually, this is the full list, but then here we created this list by extracting all the unique meshes, right? Okay. We did it by extracting all the unique meshes, which is our entry point. The problem is that this entry point doesn't work for this special set of things. Yeah, this is the issue. So if I do one second, if I do where ID is greater than 3 and ID is less than 50. Okay, yes, but I need to do it on the production database. I was in the production. No, because these numbers are not the same ones. Because they are scattered around. Fuck it, I have to do it one by one. I think there is no way. We need to do it one by one. I'm trying to search if there is a better solution, but I think I need to basically, 439 chainmail torso armor, unfortunately, as a mesh, which is item sac 02A, which obviously is not unique, and so I cannot use it as an entry point. This one still will go if I take the sac item, which I think is under item somewhere. Yes, sec02a. If I take exactly the same thing and I copy it here, right? This will be saying that this line looks exactly like a sec. So he has the same static mesh, the same directories, and everything else. So we should not change it then in Unreal, otherwise we are fucked. But assuming that we don't change it, now we can finally say that. Now we can finally update the item stats, setting the mesh to H480, right? H480, and the texture to I480, where ID equal to B480. Okay, so I think that now it took me a bit, but now I think it looks okay. So let me see this thing. Update item stats, set string mesh to static mesh strings container sec02. Yeah, the only issue that all of this then needs to be escaped, which is a big issue, but we will find a way. And the texture equal to 4, where ID, okay, like this I think it works, apart from the escape of the comma, which will, of the quote, but I think that is fine. So what I need to do this thing for, so from this line down, let me maybe insert one above, and let me just mark this as different. Okay, let's mark it. How can I fill this in this color? Why this remains red? Okay, now you do it. That one's staying red. Probably because there was a data formula that when it's empty is red. Yeah, probably yes. Okay, from here down the formula is different. Okay. So from here down the formula is different. So we should not touch from here down anymore, right? The problem is that I have to do it kind of manually. So the update will be correct for all of them. Oh shit, there is 1 million. Texture to the game books. Game books is another problem. Game books is even different, but okay. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to find out all these ones. So for example, the first one was torso chainmail. The second one is arms chainmail, right? So let me filter on chainmail. Arms chainmail. Arms chainmail is this one, so it's 440. The only thing that we care about at the end is this ID, and we may check if he has a mesh, but I think that all of them don't have. We will have to reassign them. Yeah, all of them are pointing to item sec2, so we should then reassign them, but it's fine. Then I have legs chainmail. Legs chainmail is pants, I think, so it's 442. 442. At the moment I'm assuming they are all using the same thing. Okay, I'm not even gonna check, I'm just assuming. Anyway, makes no big difference. So it is the pants, and then we have the hands, which I think is gloves. 441, 441, and this will be the same, and this will be the same. And then we have the feet, which I guess is boots, which is 443. Okay, and so on. Okay, and so I don't know if I want to do them all now, but anyway, that's the reasoning. Okay. Now from here down, something else is happening. Wait a second. What is this? These are the configuration for. But then we miss the ladder, for example. We miss a lot of stuff, boys. We miss the ladder. Okay, let's. I don't think I can do it all now, but we miss the ladder. We miss the plate. We miss the all the racial variations. We miss a lot of stuff, I think. Even if the racial variation, I think is this block. Head. Yes, I think this block is the race variation. So this one is this block. Maybe we can, we can put a title, but it is basically the whole chainmail. We will need the same for ladder. So I think we need exactly the same thing for ladder, which I didn't add at that time, but is needed. Should we do it now? The problem is that I will finish the numbers, but I can't. I can restart, I guess, from 500 or 600. Yeah, from 600 seems to be empty. So yeah, we'll need to add here like 5 lines. Let me start from, what is the last number that we have now? 510. Assuming we don't add anything else, which I don't know. It's becoming a bit complex, but I think 510 is the latest, is the last one. Okay, let's start from 550 just for safety. Numbers is not a problem. So I will do 550 down. I need 5 of them. I need 5. This will be the same, but for ladder. Okay. It will be the same, but for ladder. So now, how do we do then the material? How do we do the texture for those ones? You see the problem of splitting in two sheets. I think that this one, the special one, we can do it in one sheet only. Or not, because I want to update the texture as well. I want to update the texture for them. Okay, let's do the ladder for a second. Okay, so this will be ladder armor. This will be ladder armor. Ladder armor, I want to go in the same sequence, so I did torso, arms, legs. Torso, let me do ladder. Ladder armor, no. Ladder armor. If I do like this, maybe I only find the right ones. No. Okay, I need to do ladder something. Okay, so we do torso first. So ladder torso armor. Why is not here? Here. 416. Right? So we do the. So starting from here. to use to Excel, and this one is slightly different. So I'm assuming that also this one don't have any mesh, so they all point to SAC02, yes. They all point to SAC02. So 216 is the leather armor. I can copy this at the end. So it's the torso. Then after the torso we have the arms and then the legs. So the arms is 417, and then the legs, which are the pants, is 419. I think they will follow the same pattern, by the way. And then we have the hands and the feet. The hands, which is here, 418, and the feet, which is why is not here? No, it's called leather boots. 420. Okay, so I don't know if this is okay or was easier to just do them manually for real. And so basically this will convert, you know, in 550 our in these numbers, right? The only problem is that I need now the same list if I want to do it right. If I want to do it right in this one, which is textures, I need to add 5 lines here. Come on. And copy. Yeah, it's a bit of a crazy work, this one. Huh? It's a bit of a crazy work, actually. And I basically need to copy this, but changing it to letter. Right? Okay, I think I will stop here with this craziness, because otherwise you will all go mad, and I understand. But it's just that we set up, you know, the basics to do this. Now I want to see some items actually working in game, so I will only use this one for now. Let me just finish the job for leather, and then we are good. But we need to do the same for the plate, and then we need to do the same for the race changes, and then we need to do the same for the helms, the bracers, and a few other things. But which are basically all in this list. You see, eyes, wings. This is the plate part, and this I don't know what is it, but okay. Okay, for now let's say there is enough. Okay, let's say there is enough. So what I do, what do I do now? So I launch all this set of updates to the database, right? So I need to basically copy this whole list of updates until let's say that we do it until here, because the rest I didn't do it yet. So we copied this thing and we put it maybe in a CSV file under update schema. I think we can go under update schema. We have the script, we have update schema. I think we can create another file because it's too big. and this one will be mesh update, or I can do update schema mesh, which I think I like it more, right? Update schema mesh will be this thing, so which will update. Now the issue that we have with this is the escape, because unfortunately here we have the quote. But so the first quote I can solve it quickly. I can just do a substitution of this one with static mesh / that. Okay, and so here we have it. This one I think I can just do when there is a double. We put a single. We put a right. So when there is a double, we put / Hopefully it will work. I can try to execute one and see what happens. Let me try to execute one in the copy of the production DB. So I have to set this DB as the default. And then I need to open a new SQL editor. And then I need to do this and see what happens. 4 rows updated. So he updated 4 rows, which I think is okay because it means that 4 items in the game are using this mesh, which is now this mesh, right? So if I go now in item stats production and I check where GSIF texture ID equal to sysstrange fixed texture equal to 178. Okay, these are the 4 items that have been changed, and I hope it had been changed properly, but it seems so. Yes, they got this mesh and this texture, okay, which will correspond to our DT table texture that we will load after. So I think it's okay. If I re-execute this another time, obviously will not do any harm. Okay, so I think we can try to execute the whole thing and see what happens. And if everything goes bad, we will take another copy of the database. Now there are a few that are empty, like these ones. Why they are empty? The bracers are empty, so they don't have. We have a problem with the bracers. Just to understand how you did it, but I see that here the bracers have no mesh. Why 345? Sorry, have no texture. They have the mesh. No, they don't even have a mesh. No, I don't understand this. They don't have a mesh. So this update will never work. 345. Okay, these ones. So these ones have no mesh. And it is a problem, huh? Because it means that this line we cannot update. Why they have no mesh? I think the bracers for sure have a mesh in the database. The bracers have a mesh in the database. Good question. Yeah, for sure they have, but they are managed in a special way, because there are a lot of special things in this game. There are a lot of special things. Oh my god, these are all the ones that are crafted. Unpolished silver emerald bracer. What is it? This is an ingredient to craft. Yeah, but the mesh is this one, huh? Jewelry bracelets lesser 01 is this thing. So but the texture is different. Fuck. So here we have the same mesh but different texture. Right? So it is the problem of this ones, huh? So the mesh stays the same for all the variations, but the texture is different. Exactly. The problem is that here, if we don't have the if we don't have the texture, no, but the texture different. We have different texture. Yeah. So why we don't put? So if I put this the same here, right? The same, exactly the same. If I put the same here, my update would be okay because I will update. I can check, but I think would be okay. Let me check. Will be from 344 to 348. 344, 348. So it will be update this. No, it doesn't work. Fuck. We need to do it by ID. We need to do it by ID. Huh. Okay. So only for these ones. Again, there is another exception, which are the braces. Only for these ones. Well, for all the braces actually. For all the bracers, we need to color in a different color. And for this one, we need the ID, and we need to do it by ID, otherwise will never work. So I hope they are in the same sequence. So I can just copy the numbers one by one. Wait. Bracers, less texture, azure. What? No, there is something not working. How can they have all the same? No, because these are all the same. Okay. I'm not looking at the right list. The list is the list is all the greater. What do we do with the? What do we do with the one that are crafted? Hello, Homer. Alakush. Hi, Talad. Are we able to examine drive docs you are working on to be able to figure out development docs work? No, this one is I think is by invite. So it's by email. It's by email invite. I think if you go to this URL that you see it at the top, apart from the fact that it's a crazy URL, but if you go to that URL, I think you will not be able to access the document because it's a share by email. So you cannot access that. But in particular, this file is just a very rough file that we use for converting the database. So I think it would be no interest to you. Okay, you know what? For now, let's let's forget these items. Let's try to do the update and see what happens. Okay, I can clean it up after the stream. I mean, there is a lot of manual work to do here. There is a lot of manual work to do here too, for all the special items. Because all the normal items are done and they are good, but all the special one, like the bracers, the helms, and the armor, which are by race, there are different variations. I mean, there is a whole logic behind. Those one I have to do really in a different way. But everything else should be fine. So let me do this. Let me just try to run this whole thing in the database now. Okay. And see what happens. The ones that are empty, I think anyway they will not do anything. So I think it's fine. Can I execute it like this or no? Or the editor will go crazy? Like if I do this, and then I select all and I run. It doesn't like it, huh? I can execute a command line. Oh, no, there is execute SQL script. Okay, this one is execute SQL script. Right? Yes, I think if I do this, it's doing it. It's doing it. Boom. Here's an issue. Yes. Here's an issue on this one that are empty because the substitution didn't go well. Unfortunately. Let me delete all the one that you already did. But it is just the first pass, so this will become, you know, perfectly fine. Now it's so, but don't worry, it will be perfect science one day. It is just the first raw pass at updating the database. Okay, he executed all. So we did all the updates for texture and mesh in the database, right? We did all of that. So the database now is ready to take whatever we have in the DT tables, right? So the stuff that I was doing, I think was already okay. So I was extracting into the DT tables all these numbers. Now maybe let me extract it again now that we have added at the bottom, So let me just export. Let me close it because I understood it. If I don't close it, it's not gonna work. So let me export. Download comma separated item DT textures. Replace it, yes. Okay. So now it should contain also those things. Now the only thing I need to do, I need to open it and remove the first two columns, because these ones we don't need. Delete columns, and now we save it again, keeping the current format. Okay, now let's try to import this in Unreal. Actually, Unreal should already detect the fact that we changed it, and you see the message, but I want to import it manually. So if I do asset re-import DTX texture, cannot find property for column DTX texture material structure. Okay, the reason is, that we need to name the columns, I think the same way. So we need to name it row and texture, otherwise it doesn't find it and is not happy about it. So let me try again. Yes, now we found it properly. So now we have, maybe we can change it also in the Excel file. Maybe not. I think there's a good reference. I will just change it. So now we basically imported all the properties here, right? Which are now corresponding to the one that we have in the database. Okay, which is exactly what we want. Now, in theory, we should do it also for the icons. We can try. We can try. For the icons, let me save this. For the icons, for the icons is item icon. Well, item icons is a bit too small, but I think we can delete all of that. Right? We can delete all of this and just re-import. So let me see if it may work. So there, for example, we have glyphs. So if I go under arrow glyph, arrow glyph will become update item blah blah blah, and then I will take, yes, that is correct, and then I will take DT icon and DT atlas reference, those two, and then X and Y. Row name. There's a mistake here. No, it's okay. Is okay. Is in the name, right? Yes, it's in the name. So this one should go in the name. What was called row name? I don't know, slightly different name, but no, it's okay. It's okay. We'll take this one, and this one is one. So, and we will import it all. Okay. So let me do the same. So we just go and we do this crazy update. We do this crazy update. We put it on a txt file exactly like we did before, and we call it update. And we call it update schema icons, right? And the good part is that our production database is not changing. So when we fix this thing once, it will work forever, okay? And so when we do the migration, then it's done, and we will never check it again. Hello, Moxel. Hello, Marek. Hi, guys. Hey, if you didn't click on follow yet, do it. You can follow on Twitch, and you can subscribe on YouTube. It's free, and it would help me. So in this file, we will just copy this crazy list, right? Which will be our update script, and now we also run it because we want to see what happens. And we execute script. Okay, it's executing the whole thing. I mean, it's pretty slow because I executed it line by line, but we can just run the script from MySQL the next time, but it's okay. So he's running it. I don't think he has any issue, so it will work okay. So he's still running it, but it's fine. Okay, now we finished. So he updated 5,000 rows roughly. And now we need to extract, and we are close to see if it works or not. Huh? We are very close, so hold tight. Can I select a number of columns and export only those columns? There is no export selected. It would be too cool, too fancy. Okay, so we override DT item icons, which we don't care. So we will replace it. Yes. Okay, so it should have replaced DT item icons. Let's just open it up to see how it looks. No, sorry, I have to open it with Open Office. And oops, where is Open Office? Ah, yes, it's asking me if I want to import it as a file. Okay, the only columns we need to keep are, so this one we can delete, this one we can delete, and the others are good. Now the only thing we need to ensure is that the names are the same name. So this one should be called row name. This one should be called whatever, description. Maybe we can just change it in the. This is X and Y. X and Y. Why we have a mesh column here, I have no idea. Anyway. Okay, we save it like this. And we try to re-import. Expected column mesh not finding input, okay. Duplicate row name 136, 130, 130, 140. Okay, that's a good message. So we have some duplicate. It did it anyway, but we have some duplications. Now we need to understand why we have some duplications. It said that 136, for example, is duplicated. Yeah, and actually it is. Why is duplicated? I have no idea. It seems to be just a mistake in the, because this number should just be automatically progressing, right? Maybe you did an insert and forgot to update the index. Yes, probably yes. Because this should be different icons. So for us are different. Yeah, so we should. Wait. If I do it, I'm fucked forever. Because if I do it now, my database will be bad. So we cannot do it anymore. We need to take another production database clean and do it again, because this one unfortunately is a no turning back kind of update. When you do it, you do it. Hello Rianda, hello Hula, welcome. Hey, how are you guys? So we cannot do it. Okay, so let's leave this. Well, I can fix it here for the next time. Yes, I can fix it here for the next time. But now I cannot re-update this. Wow, we have so many icons, boys. Why we have so many icons? Is it real? We have 732 icons. For sure. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or I'm doing something stupid. Tua? I'm doing something stupid or what? I can always Control Z. They are gonna point. You're saying, but they all point to the same icon. They all point to the same icon. I understand what you mean. Okay, so I Control Z. I Control Z. Okay, I undo what I did. So what you are saying is that these ones How can they point to the same icon if they are different? No, I don't get it. There's something I'm missing here. There is something I'm missing. So, so here we have different icons in the old game, right? We have 01, 02, 2B, and 2C. These are different icons, correct? There is only Jug01 icon. And then why here it seems that we have more? So you are saying that these lines you created, right? So these lines are special lines. These lines are special lines that you created because you wanted to, but this will never match because if they are not in the database, this will never match, right? I don't understand what you want to do with these lines. I don't understand. So is Jug02 icon in the database or not? In the old database. This is what we need to figure out. So let me say where string icon equals to this. Ah fuck! I delete them all now. I delete them all now when I did the update, so I will never know. I will never know. But the point is that if this value is in the old data, well, I can check it in production. I can check it in production. I can check it in production. I think there's nothing secret in this, so I can show it to you. So if I do select star from item stats where this thing, right? Yes, is in the database. Is in the database. Is actually in the database. So you are saying the icon doesn't exist. Because the problem is that this query doesn't work. So, or if there is a, so basically those items will have no icon if you do it like this. If you do it like this, they will have no icon. The icon will be invalid in Unreal, and so it will not work. What we could do, or you just no, I think that the best is that you keep these ones, but you assign them to you would like to assign them to the same ID, or you can assign them to different ID, but then you have them point to the same icon. I think the best will be probably to point to this, to have different ID, but point to the same icon like this. So if in the future we want to create it, we can. Assuming that these jugs are different in shape. I don't know if they're different in shape, but let's assume that they are. So I think that the change that I was doing of extending this number down is the right one. I think there are a few others like this chest, and so if they are actually different, but okay. Let's say that we did it. Okay, let's say that we did. Let's move on. So we did the update to the database, and we did the update to the DT texture. So in theory, now if I launch the game, right? When I spawn an item, okay, let's try. So I save everything. So these are saved. Yes, I will save. This is saved. So I save this, okay, okay. Now I have to launch my game with a production database. So I have to do plain shift prod, right? And I launch the server and the client. Now the first thing that we should see, in theory, is in my inventory. If I open my inventory now, we should see different icons. And if I drop those items to the ground, we should see different meshes. Something that in the past were all pointing to the same default sack. You know. Okay, I'm just waiting the database to go up. It takes a bit because being the production database, he has to load a lot of stuff, and so it takes a bit of time. How are you guys? Are you safe from Corona? It's your I don't understand this phrase. Okay, I think it's loading. It's nearly there. We don't have a lot of NPC there, but it may be that helms, bracers, and other stuff now is not working properly, and so that's expected. But basically, because these are the entries that we, kind of skipped for the sake of time. Ah, that you meant. Okay. Um, yeah, we could do it too, but I don't know. I think I want to put the time in improving the game. Okay, so someone is moving in the game. By the way, you see this setting character rotation. I need to go with something else. Okay, it's loading up. We have. I hope we have only one map. Yes, I think we have only one map. Okay. It is the first effect. So we have our monkey. Yeah, well, okay, I said that there are a few things that are broken now, which are all the race specific parts. For some reason, the head remained okay. But the rest unfortunately didn't. So I think I have the sack icon on me, which is fine. The helm is okay. So I don't know why. I don't know why I have the sack icon on me, but at least it means that the system kind of works, because the texture changed. Okay, let me check my inventory. Holy moly, what the fuck happened? Okay, I think the UI was expecting something that has been overridden. I think the UI. Let me see if there is any error here. Tua, did you change the name of any of the? Did you change the names of the UI? Probably, eh? Probably yes. I think you may change the names of the materials. No. Under UI. Where are the? I don't remember where are the. Maybe you change the icon UI. You rename this one? Because for some reason Sims is not finding. He didn't find the background images though, which is weird. He didn't find. Atlases in material might be the mesh ones. No, because you see that it doesn't take anymore the background, right? So the background of the inventory is pointing to something else. Now I'm thinking, where is that? That is inside widgets. WD slot. WD, where I don't see it, slot. So this one seems it cannot find, even if yeah, you see is white. I think that widget, no, materials. Let me check the changes 1 second. Atlas mesh has been deleted. Did you rename mesh to? It might be the mesh one. Yeah. So I think that's not a good thing though. But okay. So did you also change the positions or not? Because if you change the position, it might be pretty complex now to put it back. But if you just change the atlas, I think it's the name of the atlas. I think is okay. But where is the stuff that was inside Atlas Mesh? I can't see why. I don't know what you did, so it's very hard for me to go back and fix it. But you see, like this brush is pointing to something that does not exist anymore. I think I will restore mesh because it's probably the easiest to restore mesh and see what it was containing. Because yeah, you have to be careful to delete stuff because there may be blueprints pointing to it. There may be a lot of stuff pointing to it. So if you delete an asset, it may be impacting other stuff. I can export it. I exported this one, which was deleted, just to see what was containing. Materials. Mesh. But why it sees it at what? Bit confused here. Why he sees it as an existing item? Materials M Atlas Mesh. Atlas Mesh. The problem is that I don't know what he was pointing to. Texture icons. Texture icons. But there is a mesh here. I don't know. I don't know exactly because this one is pointing to icon mesh. By the way, I really don't like the separation between materials and textures. I think that wherever a texture is referring to a material, they should go in the same directory. Otherwise, we always go back and forth to understand, you know, what is related to what. But I'm trying to search, you know, the basic background, because the background is not here. I'm a bit lost in searching this, because in theory WD's lot item, which is this one, was having an image which was pointing to what? Let me see. Maybe it's in the code somehow. Wait. Maybe it's in the code. Maybe it's in the code. Does this thing compile or not? It does compile. But there should be WD's lot item. Because I don't know, maybe there is the reference to the atlas in the code, you know, and now that we changed it, it may mess up for that. The problem is finding the place, because the icon, make the icon blank. Okay, set up the tool to find the correct icon. Here it is. Item icon, row description, set, for example, this one, you see that is empty. I think this one is empty, and I'm not very sure it should be, but I'm not 100% sure. He's taking, you see, he's taking the position 10, 10. He's taking the position 10, 10 from an atlas, and the atlas seems to be missing. I think this one was pointing to the atlas. Let me just check the 1010, the 1010 for but the point is that you did not change the 1010. It started from 0, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is the sack. Is the sack icon for all the ones that you cannot find anything. Okay, yeah, so I think it could be this one. Yeah, 1010 goes to the sack, yes. No, I think we can fix it also without, I think it's basically wherever we add the atlas mesh, you know, the only thing that I don't know is it doesn't show anything there. No? I was expecting to see something here, but maybe not. I was expecting to see a default, but maybe the default. I remember that when I was clicking on this, I was seeing like a small gem icon or something in the background. May be wrong though. I'm not 100% sure of this. I'm not 100% sure of this. Um, hmm. Hmm. 1 second. So you deleted one. You deleted one material, right? So if I update this thing, Atlas mesh, Atlas icon mesh. Why Atlas icon mesh is still here if you deleted it? That is something I don't understand. Show log was deleted, right? So why I see it? Say PS Unreal Content Materials M Atlas Mesh deleted. Ah, because now you added icons in front of it. Ah, it's been renamed. Okay. Okay, so it's now called. Okay, I think that our code is going a bit crazy due to that. It's going a bit crazy. It's going a bit crazy. Let me just do something stupid for a second, just to test. If I do Atlas Mesh, it will be exactly the same one, right? I just renamed it as it was, right? As it was before the fact. Let me undo my changes to the widget because I saved it after. Let me revert to this. Okay. And let me just launch the editor again. I think that probably now we will see it. The problem is if you want to keep that name or not. I mean, I can just take your file, copy it on top of the other, you know. Let me just see the W slot item, if by any chance it's loading. No, it looks the same. It looks the same. Hmm. But I think it's this one. Let me see if in the code. Let me see if in the code. No, here is still missed. The asset is still not there. Strange. It's very strange. It's very, very strange. Set material. Make the icon and tooltip blank. Set tooltip, set material. Maybe it's not here. Maybe it's not here. Maybe it's not that one. Brush. Image. I think I think it still sees it with the old name. Now, the problem here is that the problem the problem wait, I think I can fix it. I'm just thinking which is the best way, but I think I can fix it. I think I can fix it because it's only a matter of naming. Unfortunately, if I copy the asset, It's like seeing two assets with the same name, which is not work, because probably inside of this file there is also the name of the assets, and you deleted Atlas Mesh. Yes, exactly, Atlas Mesh. This one. Yeah. This one. The only thing is, I don't know why. When I said please, I asked him to restore. He didn't restore. I asked him to restore the file. You know, when I went here, I did this, right? I did show log. I went here, okay, asset deleted. Then I said export. Let me see, maybe I didn't. I say export, and I said put it on Piazza Unreal, content, materials here, right? I said put it here. And it does nothing. It doesn't put it there. I don't understand. Maybe because there is a deleted file, or save revision 2. Let me do a save revision 2. Save revision 2, I think will fix it. Atlas Mesh, view assets. Okay. It's strange that if you renamed it, do you remember too if you renamed it from Unreal Editor? Because in theory, if you do it from Unreal Editor, it should be smart enough, you know, to change all the references automatically. In theory, so it should renaming is a possible operation. If you did it on the Windows Explorer, GG, is not possible. But if you did it in Unreal, in theory, should be fine. In theory, should be fine. Should be okay. But if you did it, okay, now I think it will be okay, because I copied the file with the right name, and that's the only change. I think it should be fine. Editor. Now we will have two assets, right? But at that point, I think we can really rename one, or find references, see wherever is referenced, and I think we will be fine. WD slot item. Okay, so now is exactly how it was. I was seeing this small diamond. Okay, so now is exactly as it was. So this one is pointing, yes, you see, is pointing to Atlas Mesh. Now, just to prove the point, I think if I rename this thing, if I go in materials, right, and I rename it, I think the engine should be smart enough. What is it? Icons Mesh, Atlas Mesh, this one. Atlas Mesh. If I go here and rename it to Atlas Mesh rename, right? I think, okay, apart from the fact it doesn't exist in SVN, but that's another problem. And I go to widgets W slot, you see it's correct. And if I go here, you see that it says M Atlas Mesh rename. No, it's okay that you messed up. It's no problem. You helped so much. So. But I think you did it on Windows Explorer. So let's say the lesson learned is you can rename, is no problem at all. You have to do it inside the editor. Okay, so if you do it inside the editor, everything will work fine. If you do it outside the editor, is a problem. But now it's pretty easy, because we have this one pointing to a texture, which is this one, right? Icons mesh, which I think you did not anyway touch, or anyway is already the updated one. So I think now the rename is pointing to the right one. So I think it should work now. I think it should work okay. And I think, by the way, another thing you can do, just again for learning, just for learning, is if you take an asset, right click, and you go reference viewer. Reference viewer is telling you where this asset is referenced into the engine, right? And so, for example, you see that this one is going into Atlas Master, Icon Mesh, and is going into these two places in the code. So there are two places in the code that are using this asset. But still you can rename it, it's no problem. But you have to do it inside the editor. Now we can check if the other one that we have, so the icons mesh, this one, we can check if it's used or not. Reference viewer. And you see that in fact it's not used by anything upstream. Okay, it's used by this. Is using these two things, but upstream is not using anything. So this one is safe to delete. If we want, we can delete this one and use just the other one. Okay, for now I will leave them both, so that maybe you can practice a bit on that and change them yourself if you want. But they are basically two materials, right, pointing to the same texture, so there is no problem. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, so we can leave it or we can delete it. But now, if you delete the rename, it will be a problem. You should delete the other, which has no references, and then keep the rename, right? Okay, let's see what happens now. So now we are in the right position. So we have our new icons and everything. So I want to see if when we open up is good or not. So now what we are expecting, we will still be monkeys. So we still have the bad skin. And the skin we can fix, but the skin, so to fix the skin, now is the server is going up. Give him a bit because it's the production database. To fix the skin is not that complex. To fix the skin, I think we have here. Yes, it's this block, right? It's this block. It's this block, and in particular, the one that before I said, I don't want to do it now, and are all the ones related to the races. These five here are the ones that are messing up. Exactly these five. It's only 5, so maybe we can do it. But the point would be, I will have to update what? 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 Races. I will have to update, well, the easiest, what is the easiest, is to just check in the old database the sample that I did, because I did one for the CRAN for sure, and I have to think about it, because actually we need to have no, I think as long as we have this, as long as we have this, as long as we have this in the, I think I remember now. No, no. Texture 14, 15, 16. 14, 15, 16. I don't have any of those here. Yes. I think is under. I think is under traits. It's completely another table, because I think is under traits. 1 second, huh? Because I think I changed this one as well. Yes, 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 yes. But I think this one we did it. No, we did it in the. We did it in the production database, or no? No, probably not. Traits. Well, traits. I had to change the string texture to these numbers. No, I didn't do it. In the production database, we didn't do that. Now, in my update schema, I have this one. So I have to execute this one in the production database. And then I think we will be good. No. This is changing the string mesh, which is this one. Okay. Which is this one. But there is also the string texture. And this one I didn't create it. Huh? You see this 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 9. Yes, exactly. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yes, this one I didn't do. This one I did not do. So this one I didn't do, but we need to do. Now, what is the why I did it manually, but I didn't do it for real? I think it's very simple to do, because basically is whenever you have F9, F add 2, F arm. I think I did it by a query. You see that they're all different here? I did it by a query, but for some reason I did not copy it into my notes. So I think here I have to add that part. Okay, let's just test just to see something running. Let me just test if now. Let me log in and see if at least the icons are okay now. You will see me. You will see me with the wrong texture. Yes. No, it's still bad. Why? This is strange. Did I save it? Um, hmm. This is actually strange. Or it didn't take the change yet, or there is something weird. Okay, let me do this fix on which anyway is needed. This fix on the head and stuff. So what is the rule for this? What is the rule? I don't know. String texture. Let me do string texture different than null, no, different than empty. So it seems that for the head is pointing to 9, head 2 is pointing to 10, head 3 to 11, head 4 to 12. So indeed is a pattern and is always the same. This is for the head. Then there is the arm. But here I think we had only a subset. Huh? Yeah, here we had only the head. Ah, the arm is here. Ah, they're all here. Okay. I'm still. Okay. They're okay. Wings. Up to 5. Okay. So yeah, I need to do. So I need to do. Do I have this in this table? Yes, I have it in this table. I don't know if this is comprehensive of everything though. Because 31, 38 feet. We are missing some like NPC. There are some NPC heads. We also have head 6, head 7, head 8, 8, 9, which we didn't do. But you know what? I think if I'm doing it, let me. No, like this doesn't work. No, like this doesn't work. What is the easiest way to extract this information in a quick way? Okay, anyway. Let's do it manually. I mean, I'm thinking if there is a smarter way, but I cannot figure out the smarter way. So I will just do it manually. Anyway, when done once, done forever, because these traits are fixed for everything. So I basically need to do update to 9. Update to 9 where string material is fed. So where C string material. So update traits, set string material 9, where choose string material f add, exactly. And then I have to do exactly the same. Oops. I have to do exactly the same for all the others, which are quite a number, but not infinite. There is a add underscore 1. That is not good. Why there is add underscore 1? But we set it to 10 at the moment. Because in theory 10 is head underscore 2. Well, I can't do this. And we will see then in game. We will have to test, all the possible combination of traits and all of that. So is add 1 to, I hope 3 is 11 and so on, right? So it's all the same. So 3, 4, 5. I think we arrive up to 5. And then 6, 7, 8, actually, I did not associate to anything for now, but I think it's okay. We can associate it later on. Then the 14, what the hell is the 14? I don't have 14 associated to anything. Come on. No, because 14 is for these other things. Okay, it restarts at 21. Right? Yes. It restarts at 21. So 21 is ARM. 22 is ARM2. 22 is ARM2, and so on, okay? 23 is ARM3, and blah, blah, blah. 24 is ARM4. Okay, so these are the queries, just for you to understand. These are the queries that we will use one time only to upgrade the old database to Unreal Engine, because we have all the information that now is slightly different, so that's why. But the good news is that one is done. So when I wrote, like this query that I'm writing here is one and forever, and it is valid for all the characters. So once done, is a bit of an annoyance now, but 26, 27 is hand 2, so 27. And then there should be a bit of testing really to ensure that the characters are looking okay. But and the 3 is 28, 28, and the 3. Then we need to figure out what happened to the icons, because there is something pretty messed up there, unfortunately. But I don't know what happened really. Because now it should be okay. Now it sees it, but in game it's still white. I don't understand why in game is white. Okay, so we did all arms or ends. Now 31 is torso, and we have 5 types. 31 is torso, and then 32 torso 2, torso 3, torso 4, torso whatever. (32, 33, 34, torso underscore 2, underscore 3, underscore 4, and underscore 5. Okay, we are close, eh? Don't lose your faith. I know it's a bit annoying, but don't lose your faith. 36 are the legs. Okay, and also here we have legs 2, legs 3, legs 4, legs 5. So up to 5, just going up. So 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Legs 2, legs 3, legs 4, and legs 5. I'm getting faster, which is good. Then we have the foot for 41. And then we have the same 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oops. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then we have what is left? 45. Then we have the 50. Now we only have the wings left. There are 2 types of wings apparently. Okay. Don't know why we have 2 types of wings. No idea. Which is 51 and 52. 50 is missing. Okay. So this is wings and wings underscore 2. No, it's wing, not wings. Wing and wing underscore 2. Okay. 51 and 52. Okay, good. Are we missing any numbers? I don't think so. Okay, so this is pretty good. So if we, so this is update rates to use. This is update rates to use ID instead of string on. On string tag. By the way, all of this should be string texture. Okay. All of this should be string texture. Okay, if I now run this thing in the production database, if I run it in the production, boom. Okay, 132 rows updated. Right? And if I launch the game now, I guess I will have the right skin. Okay, which is good. Now let's try to understand this thing on the icons. Why the icons? Now that I replace this, and now that my WD slot item is seeing properly the atlas, right? I can compile it and save it again. I don't know. Yeah, I failed to save because it's open. I know. Okay, so I saved it. So this one is correctly pointing to this. And this one is correctly pointing to the icon mesh texture, which is this one, right? So there should be no problem with that. No problem with that. Now I can check in the code if it didn't change it. That would be a problem, obviously. Now you see that it changed it automatically. So this one is pointing now to Atlas Mesh rename. So so it's good. So as long as I saved it, should be automatically updated. But one thing, wait, I think I have an idea. These 2 things you see here, Inventory. Inventory is to recompile. Okay. I think that may have been the problem. That may have been the problem because since we changed the name, but now inventory should be also. Okay, now it's changed. Yeah. That may have been the problem then. Okay, let's see. So let's launch the game again. I have more hopes that it may be fine now. Because if you see it in the editor, is you know, should be fine also in the game. Okay. So now what I'm expecting is to see my character with the right skin and no more with the sack. So with the right skin, and I'm expecting also hopefully the inventory to show the items icons properly. Yeah, I need to wait the server to go up. It's loading a bunch of stuff. It's loading a lot of stuff. Are you guys on Linux, Windows, or Mac? Because I'm thinking to have the first, test release, like the early one, just given to a restricted number of people, only on Windows. Just because I don't, it takes me time if I need to recompile on all the platforms. Just that. But I wanted to know if some of you have different platforms. So maybe in that case I will. Okay. So now my skin is fine again, which is nice. The helm seems to be working as well. But fuck. Something happened. Why? Why the skin is correct? That's strange. The skin was right. The skin was right in the character selection, but it's wrong in here. Wow. Okay. Interesting. Fuck, this thing is still fucked up. This thing is still fucked up. For whatever reason. Why is fucked up? Let me go in other screens like in this screen the icons are okay, for example. Here the icons are okay. Let me see like in a container. me see. I think I have a chest. There is something stupid going on with the cache or something. No, it's the same in the chest. The chest is the same. Ah, there is another problem of... Ah, wait a second. Because there is one thing to say. But you see that the book is correct. So the mesh of the book is correct, which is nice. Cannot click it for some reason, but the mesh of the book is correct. And I think, you know what is the problem though? That you see the bow is also correct. So the meshes, I think the meshes went in okay. The meshes went in okay. The problem that we have, I'm just thinking if the problem is the slots. No, but these slots should show okay. I'm not completely sure why. You see also this mesh. All these meshes are okay now. The textures are fine as well. So so I think that our upload of meshes is okay, and our upload of texture is okay. How can I see? The only problem is the inventory, but the inventory, I mean, the issue with the inventory could be that actually I have a different numbering for the containers. I think I took a note on that. For containers, we decided to remove the plus 16 slot ID we had in containers. So item instant location infrared for the items in containers should have slot current ID minus 16. Yeah, but this is only for the containers. For the normal items, actually, it should work. For the normal items, let me try to log in with another character which is maybe as an empty inventory and see what happens, because I'm getting confused now. If yeah, I'm in the arena. Yeah, I'm in the arena. Yes, there are the new pits. I don't know. I've seen that there is the ground which is not flat. So the ground is a bit more varied. There is some variety to the ground and is much better, looking much better than the previous one for sure. Let me try to log in with a character which has no items, okay? Because I don't know if this one seems to have nothing. definitely it seems he's not taking the right item. Why is always night in this game? Why is always night? It seems he's not taking the right icon. I think at the moment, let me try to spawn the simplest one, the Falcon. No. It is not taking the right icon for some reason. It's not taking the right icon. I'm trying to understand why though. Because here I'm pointing to the right material. DT icons atlas reference is missing. DT icon. DT icon. DT item icons we have. The atlas reference is here, no? You mean that this reference is not correct? M atlas crafting, not M atlas icons crafting. Ah, okay. Okay. So the name here is missing icons for some reason. M atlas mish. M atlas mish. Okay, yeah, I think it's missing icon. Okay. This is why only the magic icons are working. Okay, so I think it's an easy fix, no? We should just well, or I do just a substitute here, but I can just do a substitute here. I just substitute m underscore atlas everywhere with m underscore atlas underscore icons. Ah no, because the magic you say it is working. So now we need to, then we break magic. Now we can fix it in the, we can fix it in this file under icons here. So where do you put it here? This one. I mean, we can do a final replace by, for example, if I take M Atlas Crafting, this thing, right? Or I can take the full thing, maybe it's even easier. I can take the full thing, so we will substitute this with, by the way, don't go too crazy with long names, huh? Atlas icon crafting, this one. So if I copy the reference, fuck, I copied in the, what? He copied it. One second. You doing it or I'm doing it? Let's not do it together, otherwise is no, I cannot copy paste. This final replace is a bit stupid. Nah, let me do it on an empty sheet. So I have to copy, I have to change this with this. Okay. So if I do now replace this with this, right? All sheets? No. This sheet. All sheets? I don't know. Do we have it in other sheets? I don't think so. This sheet. Match case, match entire second. No. Replace all. I go. I don't know. Wish me luck. Done. Seems okay. So now we need to do the same. Atlas mesh. Atlas mesh became Atlas icon mesh, right? So it's just icons in the middle. So Atlas mesh became, right, I can do Atlas icons mesh. So I can replace this with, how many we have of these things? With this, replace all, cancel this sheet. Okay, did it. Now there is a food. I just add underscore icons. So I change this with this. This sheet, replace all. Okay. I see also an accessories. Okay, so we do underscore icons. Oops. Underscore icons. So we change this with this. Incredible how the human body, after you do a thing like 3 times, becomes faster, you know? So funny. We cannot be faster at the beginning, we are faster with repetition. Then there is an armor. And okay, so I changed this one as well. And this one, the sheet, replace all, boom, 47. What is missing? Crafting, I catch them all. I think I catch them all. Magic was already correct, right? So magic is fine. Food, mission, weapons. Assuming that also weapons is the name, but I guess so, yes. Weapons. Oops. No. So I copy this and I change this with this. Okay, the sheet. 96. That's it. This one looks weird, huh? Why this one is like this? should be weapons. Okay, done. Maybe we can add the filter. With the filter we can check if there is anything weird. Okay, seems to be okay. There are some blanks. There are 2 blanks, but we don't care about these 2. Okay, nice. So we have it. We have it. So we can now export this file again. CSV. Just have to ensure not to have it open. No, I don't. So this is the icons thing. Okay, I want to replace it. Yes. Then we go here. We go here. Where we go? Here. We go here and we open this thing. Right. Then we delete the first column and the last column. Okay. Then we just need to rename the things at the top because they have to be row description. You know what? I can just put them correctly here in the thing. So when we export, they are already correct. Description, row description, X, Y. Row description, X, Y. Yeah, mesh name, I think we leave it empty. It's no problem. Row description, X. I don't even know why I have it there. Maybe I will remove it. So I save it again. I keep the format. I go here and I say daytime asset, reimport this asset. We found some duplicates. Who cares? Oops. Is case sensitive? Oh no. Oh no, I didn't copy this. I didn't say description. Yeah. That's why. And I didn't say row. Okay. So I save it again. I reimport it again. Okay. Now it's correct. Okay, perfect. Nice. Now we can check if I'm saving it. Maybe, you know, it was working even with your change because we saw all the icons fucked up, but actually, I don't know, maybe it was working. I don't know. Maybe not, because they didn't have the right reference, so it's impossible. But it's okay. Hello everyone. I see more people joining the stream. Welcome to the stream, boys. If you are surprised and you want to say, what the hell is this guy doing? Just ask me, okay? Don't worry. You can ask questions about the game, about what I'm doing, about Unreal, about anything. Don't worry. Just ask. If you are new to the channel, follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube. That will help me. Okay, loading. So now I think we will have. Now the question is why when I load in game my skin is not correct. That is so weird. So in the loading menu is okay, but when I enter the game is not. Like we load only the items but not the traits in the character selection, that could be. While in game we load everything, in the main menu for now we don't load the traits, and so that's probably why we see the default skin, which is the blue one. Could be. So it means that the traits are still broken though. But I remember I was seeing the character wrong here. Right? It was wrong here as well. That's a mystery, boys. That's really a mystery. And it's still night anyway. Now the icons. Look at this. Now the icons. Look at this. Iron chest and metal chest, so-so, eh? But the rest very nice. Aged eggnog. Adept, Azure Way, bracer, weapons, leather pants, airglyph, rockpick, bronze bar. So some are correct, some are so-so, but it's okay. We can have then, people testing it, so we can have people spawn items and test stuff, and later the majority are correct. There are some, there are many that are pointing to this dish. I don't know why. But like this book is okay, the map is okay, the potion is okay, the sack is okay. A lot of stuff is nice. Pretty good. All these ones are okay as well. You see why I see myself wrong? Because this is all plate. This is plate mail, plate mail, plate mail. So all the plate we didn't do. I think if I go for because my character, there is a copy of the production database, so my character in production has all plate pieces, okay? And all the plate pieces at the moment are not correct. Right. So if I spawn a chainmail, I think it should work. So item chainmail torso armor. Is it? If I put it on, no change. I did it. It took a bit, huh? But anyway, I think that he has, a smart way to load only the stuff that he really needs. It takes a bit. It takes a bit to put it on. I don't know why. Blueprints power, huh? Maybe. But this thing works. We can try the other pieces. We can try chainmail arms armor. Chainmail arms armor, they go here. Boom. You see? Easy. That's pretty good. It means that all our SQL, well, maybe there are some bugs, but all our SQL and all our DT underscore tables are working now. Is it pretty good? What do you think? What do you think, too? It's pretty good. Look at this hot chocolate mug. Perfect icon. Exactly what I needed. Hide the main map. If I open it, I don't know what happens. Nothing. It doesn't. I right clicked, it did nothing because it's not implemented yet. The book? Aha! I can read the book, boys. And there's also the sound of the pages. Big feature, huh? Ah, big feature. Big feature. Okay. So I think pretty much everything works. Look at this hammer icon, is insane. Do we have an hammer mesh? Actually, the hammer mesh is the rock pick mesh. It's strange. But anyway, there may be some mistakes, but I think that you can, just slash item whatever you want and test it all. Yes, it started to be late also for me, but I think we reached the goal. So the goal was to ensure that the translation from the database was working okay, so that we could. By the way, what is that thingy? What is that thingy there? Holy moly! What's this? There is a collision in the middle. There's an invisible thing in the middle. There is something invisible in the middle. I have to fix this camera thing. It's so bad. What is the? This one is missing a texture. This one is probably water. Yeah, it's probably water, but it's missing a texture. Venalan, if you are listening. It's probably missing one water texture. Probably missing one water texture. But it's pretty cool that he has no collision, so it means that you will walk in the water somehow. It is much better. But here you are colliding for some reason. This part. No, it's just shallow water. It's just shallow water. Maybe you just didn't check in some textures or something. Ah, the one with the rocks. Nice. Nice. I like this. Yeah, much better. Compared to the previous one, they were all flat. These are insanely nice. There is the old arena floor, is not water. I thought it was water. I think the idea of water was beautiful. It's not water. Make it water. Make it water at least in one, not colliding. Make it water. It will look super good. What is here? Now I want to discover them all. That is like up and down. That is testing our AI ability, the artificial intelligence of the monster to walk on a. But I think it will work okay. There will be no problem. I think it will be no problem. I think it will be fine. I think it will be fine. This one with some grass. Yeah, it's also better because at least we now recognize the thingies. I mean, we recognize the different pits. You know, before they were all identical. Pretty bad. No, the one with the rocks is very nice. The one with the, they're all pretty good. Only one thing, the one that has the horns, I don't know how to call it. Oh, also this one has nice blockers. We can test the artificial intelligence here to see if I'm standing here on top of this, if the monster is stupid and he stays in range and I can attack him or not, you know. So this is a test that I'm gonna do pretty soon. Do you have any idea what is this that black thing that I see? It's just the fact that some shaders are not recalculated. No idea. I see some black parts. Yeah, it's very nice. Very nice changes here to this area. Very, 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 very nice. Very, 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 very nice. I'm thinking if we should have I'm thinking if we should have a way to walk, but probably not now. But I was thinking if we should have a way to walk. Like here. So from here having something that goes up and along the arena, so that like people can stay here and watch. I mean, like an additional watching area. Because you can already walk on this thing, I think. You can already walk here. But when you arrive at the end, there is nothing to do. Okay. Yeah, there can be one maybe for PvP or something. I was trying to move in the picture. I was trying to do this in the picture. Okay, good. I have to go, boys. Was a good progress anyway. I think so. We tested that the work of Tua was super good. So everything is shown. All the icons are shown. It's pretty cool. All the items. If I drop the items, many of the items have the right mesh. Hello, loading. Oh, it's not loading. Okay, I just said that and this one disappeared. But in theory, many of the items should have the right meshes. Why these meshes are not loading at all? Because my server crashed. Okay, that's why. So probably there are some invalid pointers to the meshes. Okay, but I cannot debug it now. I'll debug it tomorrow or whatever. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. If you didn't do it yet, please follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, and if you want to contribute a bit more, we also have a Patreon site, so you can go patreon.com/planeshift and you can help the development of the game. If you want to develop the game with us, that's also possible. You can join us and help us with art, code, text, whatever else you want. Okay, contact us on Discord for this. Okay, with that said, I think it's time to call it a day. So bye bye. Thanks for watching and see you soon.